The Legend of Heroes is one of the oldest JRPG franchises, but it discovered its true potential with the Trails series. These games offer an immersive experience with a continuous world building that spans numerous titles. In this video, we're gonna be ranking the Trails games based on their quality and impact. Please note that we will not be considering Trails into Reverie and the Kuro no Kiseki sub-series, as we haven't had a chance to try them out yet. Without further ado, let's get started. The Legend of Nayuta: Boundless Trails. Despite carrying the Trails name, Nayuta no Kiseki is actually a spin-off set in a completely different world and has no connection to the rest of the series. Additionally, unlike other Trails games, Nayuta is an action RPG that follows the style of Falcom's other franchise, Ys. Nayuta centers around a young boy who shares the same name and resides in the Scientia Sea, an immense region containing numerous islands. The game offers a distinctive experience as it entirely takes place on a ship or islands, and similar to other Trails games, it features an extensive backstory and lore that players can explore. Although Nayuta's combat system may not be as polished and responsive as later Ys games, it still delivers an enjoyable action RPG experience, albeit a little cumbersome. The Legend of Heroes: Trails in the Sky III. Trails in the Sky III serves as a bridge between the Liberal and Crossbell arcs, with a shift in focus from previous protagonists to side character Kevin Graham, now taking the lead with new character Reese Argent. This game delivers a significant amount of information, covering historical events in the distant past and hinting at future occurrences. However, the game experience in Sky III leaves much to be desired as players navigate uninspiring mazes and dungeons. The usual level of interactivity and exploration that fans associate with the Trails franchise is notably absent, impacting the game's overall quality. The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel. Trails of Cold Steel is the first game that introduces players to the Erebonian Empire, a nation that had been discussed extensively in previous games. The game draws inspiration from other JRPGs such as Persona, while maintaining the unique Trails style. It centers around a group of students attending Thor's military academy who are selected for a revolutionary Class 7 experiment, merging nobles and commoners in the same class. The game marks a significant advancement for the franchise, with 3D graphics providing full character animations, more voice acting, and a vast world. Combat has also been enhanced with follow-up attacks and orbital links, enabling characters to link together for bonus effects. Outside of combat, players can build relationships with party members by spending time with them. Cold Steel preserves the remarkable characterization found in past games, while offering an intriguing twist on the school life genre. Despite being a slow burn, even for a Trails game, the meticulous world building and storytelling are genuinely impressive.
I'll handle this.
The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel 3. In the Trails series, many story arcs can be divided into two parts, with the first game often feeling weaker due to the need for significant setup. Trails of Cold Steel 3 also suffers from this issue, as it primarily establishes the story and characters for the next entry, rather than delivering a compelling tale. Gameplay-wise, Trails of Cold Steel 3 offers several options to enhance combat, such as brave orders that can turn the tide of battle. However, the game's roster of party members is frequently limited and changing, providing players with little room for experimentation.
Very well. Ha!
The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 4.
Leave it to me.
Trails of Cold Steel 4, the final game of the Cold Steel saga, offers a massive crossover adventure with characters from the Liberal arc and the Crossbell arc joining forces with the Cold Steel cast. The game boasts the most extensive roster in the series, with nearly 40 playable characters, including returning fan favorites not seen in years, albeit with limited availability. While the gameplay in Trails of Cold Steel 4 is similar to its predecessor, players now have more freedom to explore Erebonia, making the game feel more open. Additionally, with an increased number of party members to choose from, combat in the final game is much more engaging and enjoyable than before.
There!
The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 2. Trails of Cold Steel 2 is an extensive sequel to the first Cold Steel game, making significant improvements in both gameplay and narrative. With the Erebonian Civil War breaking out, Ryan and the rest of Class 7 must reunite across the country and determine their roles in the conflict. Cold Steel 2 emphasizes emotional storytelling, using the intricate world building of the first game to deliver some poignant moments. There are also smart systems at play, with players roaming Erebonia to recruit scattered Thor students for their airship, the Courageous. This not only serves a story purpose, but can also unlock new shops and features on the airship. Combat has been enhanced with the introduction of the Overdrive system, which allows two characters to receive a boost of 3 turns immediately during battle. Additionally, Divine Knight battles feature giant mech fights with unique mechanics. Trails of Cold Steel 2 highlights the ambitions of the Trails series, improving upon its predecessor in almost every aspect. The Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky, First Chapter. Trails in the Sky is the originator of the Trails series, which was initially part of the Legend of Heroes series. The game features Estelle Bright, a warm-hearted adventurer who becomes a bracer in Liberal with her adopted brother Joshua Bright. Bracers are responsible for safeguarding and supporting a specific region's inhabitants. Although Trails in the Sky's game mechanics are relatively basic compared to later arcs, the game remains an incredible JRPG experience. As an introduction to the world of Zemuria and the Trails franchise, Trails in the Sky is truly outstanding. And hey, since this is my very first Trails game to play, of course I'm a bit biased. The Legend of Heroes, Trails from Zero. The first game of the Crossbell arc, Trails from Zero, follows the adventures of Lloyd Bannings, who becomes the leader of the Special Support Section, a group of officers tasked with helping the citizens of Crossbell and improving the image of its failing police force. Trails from Zero significantly enhances the Trails combat system, making it more active and dynamic, with many of the changes carrying over to subsequent games. However, the game's strongest feature is the city of Crossbell itself, which feels more vibrant and lively than most other JRPG settings. The Legend of Heroes, Trails to Azure. Trails to Azure is the continuation of Trails from Zero and the second parts of the Crossbell arc. The game delves deeper into the corruption ingrained in Crossbell and the challenges of surviving caught between two continental powers. As ominous events threaten Crossbell's existence, the Special Support Section faces tougher opposition. Trails to Azure further refines the combat system introduced in Trails from Zero, resulting in one of the best combat systems in the Trails series. Along with an incredible story and unforgettable characters, Trails to Azure stands out as one of the greatest JRPGs ever made. An official Western release was launched on May 14th this year. And now is the perfect time to play it if you haven't already. The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, 2nd Chapter. Similar to Trails of Cold Steel 2, Trails in the Sky SC improves upon everything the first game did and delivers the best story in the series. While it feels more like an extension of the first game, the dual storyline of Estelle and Joshua's journey works seamlessly, with new characters like Kevin Graham adding intrigue to the plot. Trails in the Sky 2nd Chapter represents the pinnacle of the series' storytelling, with strong characterization and emotional depth. While the gameplay remains mostly unchanged, enhancements like chain attacks, which allow all 4 party members to attack simultaneously, keep the combat fresh and exciting. The game can be challenging, particularly in the later stages. Overall, Trails in the Sky 2nd Chapter is the epitome of the Trail series, exemplifying why it has such enduring popularity. From captivating storylines to intricate combat systems, these titles exemplify why the Trail series has become a fan favorite in the JRPG genre. If you're craving even more Legend of Heroes goodness, be sure to check out our previous video on the history of all the Legend of Heroes games ever released. It's the perfect accompaniment to this Trails countdown. So, whether you agree with our rankings or not, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Crimson Game!